in the kaleidoscopic realm of online discourse, where words dance like marionettes on the strings of ideology, destiny, the esoteric enigma of our digital amphitheater, finds himself entangled in the web of skepticism when confronted with the prospect of collaboration with Vaush, a self-professed ideologue navigating the turbulent seas of political commentary.
Are large enough to be relevant. And the woke scolds are all largely irrelevant at this point. The only time in the past year that I've had any real issues with people on the left being psychotic has been like the Blitler types, you know? And I guess that might continue being an issue. I wish I could project a bigger tent. I feel like, absent all like of the past drama and baggage, this should be a very big tent channel, right? Like, theoretically, it should be. In terms of, like,
Didn't Vaush just have, like, a whole fortress arc? Now he wants to be a big tent?
marketability and demographics. It's not as though I'm, you know, I present myself in a way that is super exclusionary. I mean, you have to be able to hear the word hard, but let's be real. Outside of a very select community online, most people are fine with this, or at the very least acceptable. You know, it's fine. Apart from that, I mean, I feel like I can capture liberals pretty well and hopefully rid them of their, you know, perverse and degenerate delusions about human nature and ideal economic organization. And, you know, with regards to, like, the lefty types, I can't bring in the tankies because they're off in their own shit. Yeah, I suppose, Linkard. Does this mean friendly convos? No, friendly convos are dog shit. They do nothing. Oh, though we are talking to Ryan Grimm in a few days. So that'll be fun. Then I'm confused. Having friendly conversations with other figures very rarely actually... Okay, this is something to consider in, like, the action economy of left content creation, or just content creation in general. Having other people on my stream does nothing for me viewer-wise, unless they are colossally big. Me going on their content does. I can easily get people to come on my stream because I'm big, but other people are worried about my reputation when it comes to bringing me on their stuff. Right now, the only active invites that I get for going on other people's shows is right-wing grift networks who want to fly me out to some, like, live IRL debate that will do nothing for my metrics and do nothing but legitimize their, like, you know, neo-fascist content mill delivery machine. I get a lot of that. Every like, fascist knows that the best way for them to grow at the moment, because YouTube is kind of like a mugs game right now in terms of entryism into the political market, is to, like, do their own, like, IRL podcast, which is why every right-wing channel does this. Seriously,
Does doing an IRL podcast really grow your presence that much? He says everywhere. What are some right-wing people that have, like, been dead streamers or dead YouTubers that have exploded because they've done an IRL podcast? Maybe he'll give some examples. I might not have heard of it.
Single right-wing YouTube channel or podcast or whatever has their own, like, IRL things set up or whatever. And the reason they do that is because it benefits them. It's to their benefit to do that.
PBD? Are they, like, far right? These guys seem just like standard Trumple conspiracy duders. Also, that was not dying at all. What do you mean?
I feel like the last time it was truly, genuinely beneficial to do stuff like that from the opposition's perspective, from our perspective, was Joe Rogan, back before he became a partisan hack. Because you used to be able to pull a lot of people off that. But do you think the average viewer of, like, Tim Pool's streams at this point is really going to be pulled over to a left-leaning channel because I went over there and said, like, trans rights or whatever? Nope. The environment is way too polarized, which means in terms of, like, actually polling audience members, the most likely direction to go is to appear on liberal programs. You know, but liberals have their own issues with me, and issues in general. They're sick people. They're not well, is my point. We got a few when you debated Charlie Kirk. Yeah, but that was with Charlie Kirk. It's a big figure. Charlie Kirk and Tim Pool, you know, we got a duo there. Also, even then, the first appearance on Tim Pool actually got me a lot more attention than the second one in terms of, like, audience growth, which is weird, because the first time I went on Tim Pool...
Any possibility that the Vaush bridge could be rebuilt at some point in the future? Almost certainly not. I don't think he's a good person. And then we have huge political disagreements. Would I debate him for views? Like, maybe, but I don't like him as, like, a human being. I think he's kind of a trash, like, human. And then he's, like, so clout hungry. Like, I would be hyper aware that anytime I collab with him, I would feel bad helping him because I know that he's just in, like, he's like a user mindset. And then I think he's a bad person. So it's just, like, it would be hard. Yeah, it'd be hard.
Looked worse. and it was a lower profile conversation. But I think the reason for that is because the first convo that I had with Tim Pool was back when he was still pretending to be a center-leaning liberal. Whereas by the time Charlie Kirk came on, he had much more clearly shifted into the right-wing populist stuff, meaning that his audience was more galvanized and less likely to be pulled over. Yeah, in terms of like direct engagement, pulling people off like the right-wing audiences is not a reliable method. Why have you never done any content with your roommates? It's my stream. You know, I like having control over my stream. When you start letting friends get involved in your content directly like that, it's a slip.
Can you elaborate? He seems ultra partisan, and the poppy music grows as sick. But is there something else framing out this bad person? I don't know how much he believes in the shit he believes in. Like seeing him in real life, he was like fake as fuck, and seeing how much he like gaslights his audience over me and stuff like that. Yeah, I don't know. Usually when people treat me like that, I just like I have no desire. That was the thing. These were part of the big things that made me cut off Fuentes completely. When Fuentes started lying about like, oh, he's pro deplatforming, and look at this clip from 5 years ago, and oh, he did, and it's like, no, no. Like once you start like misrepresenting me and like treating me like shit, I have very, very, very little desire to help you grow your show. It just makes me not. Yeah. What did he do in real life? He just like said hi and pretended like everything was cool and whatever. And then as soon as he went back to his stream, he started shit on me and my chat and making it up again. And it's just like, yeah, dumb. I don't know.
Slippery slope. I have trouble saying no to my friends, honestly. I just like them too much, you know? So what if, you know, my beloved, dear friends and housemates came on and they had like a somewhat bad idea and I'm like, oh, you know, and then it's like, well, here's a bad idea. There is some stuff I had to say no to, though. It's one of the reasons I've never had my like IRL friends who aren't streamers do content on stream. Because holy shit, you have any idea how much like culpability there is on my end for stuff like that? Like how much responsibility I assume for their behavior and my audience's behavior to them. So much of a bother. Same issue with my family, right? Huge issue. How likely would it be that those aforementioned IRL friends send something out of pocket? Okay, no. So here are the issues. First of all, if they say something out of pocket, that's one thing. If they say something mildly problematic, now look, problematic jokes in private and in public are two different things, okay? There's a lot of like tolerance that I can accept with my friends. My friends are all like queer homos, right? If they make some like queerphobic joke, I know the bit. A lot of people in my audience won't, which means that then it's like, okay, do I have to challenge them on that or get them to explain it? Or is there like, they don't have like media training, you know? The God's honest truth that a lot of people don't realize when they're watching a stream is that doing multiple hours of political content live online with no script, 99% of you would fuck up massively if you were given...
Destiny, do you think with how polarizing your content is, it makes growth harder? Like you take one step forward and one step back? I think it helps. I think we balance it out well enough. Gonna be honest, Vaush, if it wasn't for your debate with Charlie Kirk on Tim Pool, I wouldn't have ever watched you, and I would still probably be a right-winger. Damn. Whatever.
Destiny, with a perspicacity reminiscent of a labyrinthine riddle, astutely deciphers the intricacies of individuals like Nick Fuentes, whose double-faced masquerade unfurls like the deceptions of Janus, the two-faced Roman god. Destiny's discernment, a tapestry woven with threads of caution, urges him to steer clear of the silent song of collaboration with those who morph like chameleons in the limelight. Vaush, a mercurial orator, basks in the effulgence of his ideological bastion, asserting his commitment to inclusivity while acknowledging the tempestuous waves that batter his vessel. Destiny, a modern Diogenes searching for virtue in the digital agora, raises an eyebrow at Vaush's claim of a broad tent, dubbing it a phantasmagorical illusion. Destiny's critique, a symphony of dissonant notes, reverberates through the echo chambers of online debate, questioning the authenticity of Vaush's commitment to the intellectual feast he lays before his viewers. The animosity that Tankis harbor toward Vaush stems from a confluence of ideological dissonance, strategic differences, and a perception of his brand of leftism as an affront to their rigid orthodoxy. At the heart of this acrimonious dance lies a deep ideological schism. Tankis, stalwarts of a more orthodox strain of Marxism, often view Vaush's approach as a departure from their purist ideals. His advocacy for a more pragmatic, inclusive leftism, occasionally flavored with elements of social democracy, becomes anathema to those who adhere strictly to the dogmas of revolutionary Marxism-Leninism. Vaush's willingness to engage in dialogue with liberals and even some centrist figures stands in stark contrast to the Tankis' preference for a more insular and doctrinaire leftist alliance. Moreover, the tactical disagreements exacerbate the tension. While Tankis often prioritize revolutionary fervor and centralized state power as catalysts for societal change, Vaush adopts a more incremental and reformist stance. This difference in approach, akin to the clash of titans, sparks resentment among Tankis who perceive compromise as a betrayal of revolutionary principles. The ideological theatre is further enlivened by Vaush's willingness to engage with political adversaries, a practice considered heretical in the eyes of some Tankis. Vaush's forays into debates with figures across the political spectrum, including those on the right, are seen by some Tankis as a compromise of principles or a form of collaboration with the perceived enemy. In the rigid tapestry of Tanki ideology, any association with those outside the strict boundaries of leftist orthodoxy is met with suspicion and scorn. At the heart of Vaush's strategy lies the alchemy of relatability. Like a modern-day Merlin, he deftly mixes the potions of popular liberal causes with a dash of provocative rhetoric, creating a concoction that titillates the intellectual taste buds of the liberal palate. By addressing issues close to the hearts of liberals, from social justice to environmental concerns, Vaush weaves a spell that beckons them into his ideological sanctuary. The bard of online discourse, Vaush also serenades the liberal audience with the silent song of inclusivity. His rhetoric, a symphony of social justice refrains, resonates with the progressive harmonies cherished by liberals. By positioning himself as a bastion of intersectionality and empathy, Vaush hopes to create a bridge that spans the ideological chasm, inviting liberals to traverse the digital causeway into his realm. Vaush's rhetorical toolkit is replete with arrows that pierce the armor of right-wing ideologies. By presenting himself as a digital paladin, he engages in ideological jousts and skirmishes, aiming to dismantle conservative arguments with the finesse of a philosophical jouster. This spectacle, a digital tournament of ideas, becomes a spectacle that captivates liberal spectators, drawing them into the orbit of Vaush's political galaxy. Moreover, Vaush, like a digital Pied Piper, understands the power of charisma in attracting a diverse audience. His charismatic persona, infused with a touch of irreverence and wit, acts as a magnetic force that transcends ideological boundaries. This charismatic appeal, akin to a gravitational pull, draws liberals into the gravitational field of Vaush's discourse. Vaush, ensconced in the citadel of polarizing content, asserts that collaboration is a mere dalliance, a fleeting waltz that leaves minimal footprints on the expansive canvas of his viewership. Destiny, however, dons the mantle of skepticism like a philosopher's cloak, casting a discerning gaze upon the capricious landscape of online collaborations. Destiny, the digital Heraclitus, opines that the polarized waters of political discourse make it arduous to draw viewers from the opposite shore. The saga unfurls with Vaush, a digital Odysseus, recounting his sojourn on Tim Pool's show as a strategic gambit in the labyrinth of audience conversion. Destiny, ever the Odysseian cynic, questions the veracity of Vaush's transformative Odyssey, postulating that the intent behind the collaboration was less an intellectual discourse and more a strategic ploy to annex viewers from the bastions of the right. Destiny, armed with the scepter of judgment, deems Vaush a bad person in the amphitheater of moral scrutiny. The cryptic allusions and metaphors cascade like a waterfall of rhetoric as Destiny indicts Vaush for his perceived moral transgressions. The accusations, like arrows from Artemis' bow, seek to pierce the armor of Vaush's self-proclaimed authenticity. Vaush, the Prometheus of polarizing content, justifies his provocative endeavors as the elixir that fuels the alchemical process of growth. Destiny, however, unfurls the scroll of skepticism, questioning whether this elixir is, in reality, a Machiavellian concoction intended to breathe life into a stagnating viewership. As the digital Icarus of collaboration contemplates the waxen wings of association, Destiny, the Daedalus of discernment, cautions against flying too close to the sun of deception. The saga of Destiny and Vaush, a modern epic set against the backdrop of digital realms, unfurls with all the nuance of a Shakespearean tragedy, where the characters, like actors on a cosmic stage, navigate the labyrinth of authenticity and deceit in the perpetual drama of online discourse.